Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Happy Sunday, everybody. Oh, I hear that tune in my sleep on Sunday nights, but there are worse things to fall asleep to. Uh, well, welcome aboard. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a good week, actually. I didn't get a video finished in time, as you could all tell, so we'll do a open Q&A. And so feel free if you have any questions in the at all. Feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat. I made a slight mistake a minute ago and accidentally pulled one up, but we'll get to that one first. It's a very simple one. We'll take care of it. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Steve Nealon over at Harneo Media. You've heard me talk about him before, and another subscriber, Michael Berlusconi, here in the chat, sent me a very complimentary email about Steve. And now you know what I mean, Michael. When I say Steve is the man, the myth, the legend, he lives up to it. If you are thinking about a website, if you're thinking about creating or increasing your web presence, you want to build a web store, you want to start selling your products or your services, there's no better way to do it than with your own website to drive traffic to put that product or that service in front of as many eyes as you can get it. And Steve Nealon over at Harneo Media, he is the man. He'll do it. Very, very competitively priced. He's on top of it, and he does what he says he'll do now. So I'm here to tell you, it's 100% personalized service. When you're talking with Harneo Media, you're talking with Steve, and that's it. Not some nameless, faceless person in a call center that you'll never talk to again. There's a link to Harneo Media in every video on my channel. And as Michael Berlusconi discovered personally, um, he's the only one I will ever recommend to you or anybody else. So thank you for what you do, Steve. I appreciate it. And he also sponsors MarkLindsayCNC.com, my website, which needs some updating, and but that's on me. Let's see now. Another thing I wanted to say before we get started with your questions is that immediately after this live stream is done and over with, I've set up an auto redirect. If you want to hang out with us, you'll be redirected over to my friend John Cousins' YouTube channel. He's running a live stream right now where he is scroll sawing a portrait for some friends. He's doing about a 2-foot portrait, 2-foot tall portrait of our friend Nancy and her husband. He's got our friend Nancy finished 726 separate cuts, and he's working on her husband right now. This thing is going to be awesome. So if you hang around, you'll be auto redirected over there. Come in, say hi. I'm going to join in, and we're just going to have some fun. And yes, that thing is on. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to put them in the chat. But for right now, let's get into your questions. And the first one is very simple. Richard Canton wanted to know, are we allowed to have Vectric on 2 computers at the same time if we have a single license? The short answer is yes. The long answer is you can have it on up to 3 computers. So I have it on this computer here so I can demonstrate to you. And so if I need to do any quick changes to G-code, I can do it real quick without having to go back in the house. And I also have it in the house on one of my desktops in the house. And I also have it on a laptop. You can have up to 3, have it on 3 computers with that license. Now, the second part of your question, does Vectric sell a seat license? I don't know. You would have to contact them if you need it on 3, 4 computers or something like that. I don't know. That may or may not be an option for you. As far as I know, they don't. And that's basically to keep people from selling access to theirs. You know what I mean? Because if you've got 12 seats, I mean, come on. So, but yeah, you can have it on up to 3 computers at the same time. So, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, John, just put your question in the chat and we'll get to it just as quickly as possible. So let's see now here. We have one by Oz Guzzy down in Lower Alabama who wants to know, how do you curve text only on the top? Okay, well, that is technically called, it's not curving the text. It's, oh my gosh, now I'm trying to distort text. So let's come over here into Aspire and let's get some text out here. And I'll just use my name. The font, I guess the font can matter, but I'll just use my name here. And I'll do it all in caps, just because. And I'll go ahead and make that big enough to see, put it in the center. And had a question last week, how did I get my alignment tools down here in my drawing tab? Well, just simply go into alignment tools up here under transform objects, the last icon, click it and put a check mark down here. Show common tools on the drawing tab. And when you check that, it adds the most commonly used tools right down here under a new category, align objects. Okay, so now from what you said, Oz, it looks like what you want to do is just curve the top of your text, but not the bottom. Okay, well, so what we'll do is, first of all, we're going to go ahead and space this out a little bit, do some kerning because my R and my K are a little bit close together. And I know you didn't ask about this, but it's just something that bugs me. And I'll get up here, select my text, and we see my cursor has changed to a V and an A with arrows in between them. And those arrows are pointing inwards towards each other. If I click my left cursor button right now, my left mouse button, it's going to bring the R and the K in together, bring them closer together. I'm going to hold down Shift, and you see those arrows now point away from one another. And I'll just click once. And that gives me some separation down here without making it look like it's two separate words. And I'll go back to my standard selection tool. All right, to distort this text just on the top, we're going to use the distort tool. And that is, come on, Mark, find it. Where is the distort tool? I just had it. There it is right there. Hello, under transform objects. And if we go ahead and go into the distort tool, we can see we have some choices. We can either do it in a bounding box, we can distort all the text above a single curve, or we can distort it between two curves. What we want to do is we want to distort it in between two curves. We'll have a flat curve down on the bottom, and then we'll have an arc along the top so that it distorts just the top and not the bottom. Okay, so we'll close that because we need to draw a couple of vectors. So I'm going to come over here to my draw line, and I'm going to come down here to this corner of the letter M and come over here to this corner of the letter K, and then click again, press down my space bar to end that line. Then I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to come right up here to this top corner and this top corner, space bar to close that. Then I'm going to select this vector, N, to go into node editing, right click, nope, select the vector, right click, and change it to an arc. Now it's going to drop down here. I'll grab my center point right here, and I'm going to drag it up. And let's say that's the curve I want right there. Okay. Close that and then come out of node editing by right clicking. Now I'm going to select my text and I'm going to go into the distort tool. And I want to distort this between two curves. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the wrong way, then I'll show you the right way. Hold down Shift and I'm going to select my top edge first, but we notice it says bottom edge curve. That's a mistake. I'll go ahead and complete it just to show you what will happen if you select the top first, then the bottom, then apply. It turns the text upside down. Okay, I'm going to Control Z that. I'll select my right click to come out of node editing. I'll select my text, hold down Shift, and I want to select the bottom edge first. We see now it says bottom edge curve OK. Still holding down Shift, I'll select the top vector and I'll click Apply, and that's going to distort the text up following that arc. Okay. Then I can close it, and I no longer need these two vectors here. So I can technically delete them, but what I'll do instead is I'll just move them to another layer and then make that layer invisible. That way, if I need to do something else with it, I haven't gotten rid of those vectors. I don't have to try to redraw them or something. Okay, so that's how to curve that text just on one edge or another. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Oz. If that wasn't it, let me know. But it's using the distort tool. And this one, I don't think this distort tool gets enough love. Because there are so many things that you can do with this tool. It's crazy. Just draw some text and play around with it, you know. So let's see. Let me come over here. Ray Dixon is asking, can you distort to fill a circle? Yes, you certainly can. But what you got to remember, Ray, is you need a top vector and a bottom vector. So let's close this. Let's Control Z to undo moving those vectors, and we'll undo the distort. Now I've got these two vectors highlighted. I'll just delete them. And let's draw a circle. And we'll start in the center and we'll pull that circle out so that it fills, the text is inside. Close, and now I'll tap N to go into node editing. So I'm going to cut the vector right here on this node, cut vector, and I'm going to cut vector over here on this node, cut vector. Now I did that backwards. We have green over here. That's my start point. That's going to mess a few things up. I should have started over here. So let's make that one the start point. Select down here and make this one the start point. Make start point. So now I have this vector selected. That's my start point. I have this vector selected. That's my start point. Now I can right click to come out of node editing. select my text, go into Distort, between two curves, hold down Shift, bottom edge OK, top edge OK, and apply. Whoops, what happened? Failed to distort. Do I have to separate them a little bit? Maybe I need to separate these a little bit. Maybe it's too big. Let's put it into Move and Transform, bump it up 1, put this into Move and Transform, bump it down 1. Maybe I need to separate them. Now, let's hold down Shift, select the bottom edge, select the top edge, selected vectors are valid, and there we go. That's what it was. I needed to separate these nodes. Okay? I needed to separate those nodes. Let's see here. Now, let me Control Z to undo that, because IL is wondering what would happen if the text is rotated before the distort. Well, let's check it out. Good question. I don't know. So I'm going to press the number 9 on my keyboard and rotate that 45 degrees. Now let's go into the Distort tool, hold down Shift, bottom, between two curves, bottom selected, OK, top selected, OK, and apply. Ooh, that's interesting. What it did was it anchored this corner of the letter K on that point. And it anchored this top corner of the letter M on this point and just gave it a wave. Interesting. I would have never thought of that. I wouldn't have thought it would do that. That's intriguing. That could be useful. I'm going to remember that. That's not how I would create that shape, because if you look at it, it's all squished here. You can't tell that that's an M. You can still tell that that's a K, but it really distorted this edge down here. Sargon says that's surfer text. Yeah, really. Okay, so that's what would happen if you rotated it before the distort. So let me go close this. Control Z to undo that, and Control Z to undo the rotate. So what I would say, AL, would be to select the text, go back into Distort. We're going to go between two curves, hold down Shift, select the bottom vector, then the top vector, apply that distortion, close, and then with this selected, now rotate it. You know what I mean? If you wanted it that way, rotate after you do the distortion. So Control Z, take care of that. Let's see here. It distorts vertically after the rotation. Try rotate 90 and distort between two lines, then distort back. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get, and you mentioned it up here, can you distort horizontally to create an effect of shaky text? Yes, you can, and you don't necessarily need two. You don't necessarily need two vectors. Let me go ahead and I'll select, and we'll move these to new layer. We'll just call it layer 2. We'll turn it off so I can bring it back. Let's see here. You wanted shaky text. We can start here, go up, down, up. And this is in no particular, there's no rhythm, there's no nothing. No measurements, no accuracy at all. That was all just freehand, freestyling. We'll close that. And then I'll go into my distort tool and I'll select the text. I'll select above a single curve. Now I'll select my bottom edge curve, which is that vector. Bottom edge curve, okay. And I'll apply it. So there is that. Close. And whoops, there is your shaky text. Now I can move that vector to new layer and align that to the center of my material. Is that basically what you were talking about there, AL? Was going for the horizontal shake effect, ghost-like. I would have to see an example of what you're talking about. A horizontal shake. Let's see here. Let me Control Z, Z, Z. Hello. Control Z, Z, Z. And I'll move that to layer 2 to get rid of it. You're talking about shaky vertically so that it looks like each one is kind of quaking. I don't get it. You play with it. But now that you mention it, let's play with it here. Okay, you were going for horizontal. Let's start here, zoom in, and let's go here, 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 just to see what this does because I don't know either. Okay, and space bar, close. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a duplicate of this. So put it into move and transform, hold down Control, and drag another one over here. So I have 2. And let's see what it'll do if it'll work in vertically. So we take that. I have a feeling it's going to spin my text around. Between 2 curves, got my text. It's looking for a top and bottom. So we'll hold down Shift. Then we'll hold down Shift and apply. That's what it does. So the quick answer is no. It spun my text around, and there's M, there's A, there's R, and there's K. So close, Control Z to undo that. The shaking would be horizontal if the guides lines are vertical. For that, I mean, not necessarily. I get what you're saying. I would expect that you need to rotate, then distort, then rotate back. Okay, I get what you're saying now. Experiment with it. Let me Control Y to redo. Whoops, make sure I'm over here. Let me Control Y to redo that. And then we'll select and rotate. And whoops, that's upside down. That's okay. There. Still, and now distort it. Okay. Well, experiment on your own because this is getting way, way, way off off of the beaten path there, y'all. But basically, I mean, you can, and that is backwards too, because that must be my start point, because that's M-A-R and K. So let's go flip around, get back here. Another thing that you can do, y'all, is you can look for fonts that are already shaky like that. You know, let me go back and turn on layer 2 and bring these back. And we'll take this one and we'll distort here. And we'll apply that. Close it. Now I'm going to turn off layer 2. Select that again and align it in the center. I'm wondering if no, that didn't work. Never mind. I was wondering if I tried distorting it to that one bottom curve, then rotate it and distort it again, if that would work, but I don't think so. Okay. Yes, you'd have to undo and rotate the normal text with the lines so they above and below the normal rotated text, then distort. Yeah. I get you. I get you. I think I know what you're talking about, but let me kind of play with it behind the scenes, and then maybe next week I will come back. That might be. I know I've already done a video on the distort tool, but this may be food for thought in getting back into it. You know what I mean? So and maybe another video. Let's see now. We have another question up here. Let's see. John Oles says, I watched your video on the 50-star union. Great video. Thanks. Thank you. 2 related questions. I can't figure out how to create a star with a flat bottom and sharp edges. I got your email. I just have been so bombarded. I have not got it done. In some of the stars, I'd like to have letters or numbers rising up from the center. Okay. If I understand you correctly, what you're looking for is, let me get rid of the text and let's draw a star. And I should have done that in the middle, but that's all right. And we'll put that in the center. Okay. You want to just carve an outline, correct? And you want to have a letter or number in the center. Let's see. You want to create a star with a flat bottom and sharp edges. In some of the stars, I'd like to have a letter or number rising up in the center. Okay. You want it to have a flat bottom. We call that will be using a flat depth. Okay. So what you'll need to do is, come over here, select your star, do a V carve, and make the start depth of 0 and put in a flat depth. Okay. Let's go with 0.625. So 1/16 of an inch deep. And I'm going to carve it with a 30-degree V-bit. 30-degree V-bit. And I will select that one. And I am going to use a clearance tool for this one. Okay. And for the clearance tool, I'm going to use a 1/8 inch end mill. Select, calculate. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to give me just that star with a flat bottom, but nothing in it. Okay, so we'll preview the. I always run my V-bit first, and I'll preview that. Here's why. When it's making this cut, you've got material on both sides to support that V-bit when it's coming around and it's making that carve. If you're carving something that's going to leave an edge, a ridge, if you clear that out first, you increase your chances of chip out or just cutting out that ridge. So I always do my V-bit first, then come along and do the clearance, and that's going to give you that star with square corners, and in this case, 1/16 of an inch deep. Okay. Now let me reset the preview. We'll come back over here into the 2D view in my drawing tab, and we're going to put a, let's put my initial in the middle of it. Whoops. Forgot I had caps lock on. Put my initial in the middle of it. Close. Let's make it bigger. That's about right. And I'll center it. Now, nope. What I'll do is I'll select the M, hold down Shift, select the star, and I'll center it inside the star. Now that says it's centered inside the star. Here we have another case of the eye is better than the math. I'm going to move my star manually till it looks right to me. That looks right to me. There we go. So now we'll come over, we'll select both the star and the text. Close my preview. I'll do a V-carve toolpath, and I won't change anything else. Calculate, and we'll preview these two visible toolpaths. And there you have a flat star with the letter M standing proud. Is that what you were talking about? Let's see, who was that? That was John, I believe. Yeah, John. Is that what you were talking about, John? You could put a letter, you could put a number, you could do whichever you would like. But I need to make sure that that's what you mean. Was that correct, John? Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and make that black and make this black so we get some contrast and you can see what I'm talking about. That actually looks pretty decent. And I just noticed I've got a huge file here, so these are big. So hopefully that's what you were asking. And Steve is right on the spot. There's my video on the Distort tool. That may be, again, that may be worth investigating for another video. And there he is on my video on the 50-star union. See what I mean about he's right there on the spot? Man. John, if that's not what you were looking for, let me know. You can use the pocket. Let's see here. Draw a star vector, draw an oval in the center, draw the number 1 in the center, select star and the oval vectors in the V-carve. Okay. select oval and pocket, make each pocket flat depth the same. Okay, I see what you're getting at. You wanted to put them in an oval? Let's see, did your question say that? How to create a star with a flat bottom and sharp edges, and then the sum of the stars. So let's try what Michael is talking about here. So let's reset the preview, close that, come back over, 2D view. Now, let's see here. Draw a star vector, draw an oval in the center. Draw the number 1 in the center. Select the star and oval vectors V-carve toolpath. Okay, so that would carve out the star around that oval. Okay, but it helps to make the star beveled edges. Okay. Select the star and oval vectors V-carve toolpath. Then select oval and the number and do a pocket toolpath. Make each pocket flat depth the same. Okay. It helps to make the star beveled edges. Well, that's what I was saying, Michael. I just realized that my piece of material is 46 by 40 inches. I didn't change my material. So I'm looking at a star that is 17 by 16. So this is pretty big. A 30-degree V-bit, I didn't need to go that small. So let me go back into this toolpath and change that to a 90-degree V-bit. Select, calculate, and now we'll preview the 2 visible toolpaths. And we'll change the back to no fill just so we can see. Now we've got that beveled edge there. Okay, the oval will help with the flat depth. Okay, all right. Well then, let's reset and give it a shot. Close, zip, and let's move that out of there. And we're going to make an ellipse, and we're going to, what size oval are we going to do? We're going to, now let's bring that down to the center, and we'll size that down. And bring that down about like so. And nudge, nudge. Okay, that's going to basically decrease the size. I'm going to have to make sure that my clearance bits will go through here. And it should. I'm using a 1/8. Okay. And then now I'm going to have to decrease the size of my letter. Basically because, well, let's see. Maybe I can bring that oval. Whoops. Nope. Wrong one. Control Z. Make the oval. Yeah, I will have to play with sizes here. Okay. So, is that what you were talking about there, Michael? Now let's come over here and we'll do select. Well, let's get rid of all these so I don't get confused. Delete all. Okay, so I'm going to select these two vectors and I'm going to do a V-carve toolpath. And we're going to go to a flat depth of 0.625 and we'll calculate. All right, and we will preview. All right, now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select these two, close, and we're going to do a pocket, and we're going to go to a depth of 0.625. And let's remove that and select a 1/8 inch end mill. Oh no, wait a minute. No, I want to use a 90 degree. Yes. Select, calculate, and preview. I must be doing something wrong, Michael. I do have the M standing proud, but I've also got a V carving around that. I must be doing something wrong. Oh, okay. Reset. Preview all toolpaths. Let me check my pocket. Did I have a start depth? No, I don't have a start depth. Close. Let me check this. No, I don't have a start depth. Close. Why am I getting that circle there, Michael? I selected the same depth, yes. Because make each pocket flat depth the same. So, and let's see. That went down to 0.625. That's 625, but why have I got a deeper, about 14 thou? Yeah, that was my question too, AL. Is this to, the idea is to allow for the edges of the stars to be at an angle and the edges of the text to be vertical. Is that correct? Use only one tool for the V-carve. Oh, okay. And, all right. So let's go back here, reset the preview, go back to a straight Z view. Let's go back up here and not use the clearance tool. Calculate. And now let's preview all toolpaths. And I still get that pattern. Something ain't right. Now my flat depth out here. Wow. Oh, that's because of the, that's correct, 625. And that's because of the step over of the V bit. Yeah, not much. Not sure I like that. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not sure I like that. I think I prefer the other better. Let's reset the preview. Close that. The outer edge of the circle is still with a V bit, so it leaves some material. Maybe add a wider circle for a second toolpath. Yeah, we're doing a lot of offsetting and things of that nature. You could offset the oval, but I think I know where we're trying to go with that, but I think, okay, you're going to send me a file. All right, we'll get into that. We'll get into that another time. But I personally, I think without using that oval at all, the effect is realized by just selecting the star. Come on. And selecting the text and just doing a straight V-carve toolpath with a clearance bit. Of course, now with this being that big, I would use a 1/4 inch end mill, probably my 1/2 inch end mill. Who am I kidding? And then preview the visible. And there we go. If that is what you're looking for there, John. So the thing to remember on this, and this is it's the same as any other type of pocket or V carving, where you're trying to get the something raised in the middle. For instance, let me reset the preview here. We'll go back out here, and I'll just do a couple of vectors. Well, for instance, we want to do the star and we want to do the oval. We want to leave that oval standing proud. We'll come over and we'll do another V-carve toolpath. V-carve, and let's do that. And we'll calculate. And we'll preview those visible toolpaths, and that's going to leave that oval standing proud in the center. Or we can do close, scoot over here, and then do another one there. Close that. Excuse me. Now you can do a pocket, or you can do a V-carve. They both work the same way, John. You can do this with a pocket, and I'll show you what I mean by that. We're going to go 1/16 of an inch dip using a one depth and use a 1/8 inch end mill, and we'll calculate it, and you can see that's what it's going to carve. So we can preview that pocket. It's going to leave that standing proud. Or reset preview, close this, go back into my 2D view, make sure those are selected, and I can do a V-carve toolpath on the exact same two vectors, both of them selected, calculate, and it'll do a V-carve toolpath. Preview visible, blink, and there you go. The difference is you have the beveled sides from the V bit, but also by using a V-carve toolpath, you have square corners. For instance, we get into, let's see what that one is. Nope. Oh, that one. There we go. That one. I can preview that toolpath. Nope, that wasn't it. Is this it? Nope, that wasn't it. Which one was it? Nope, that wasn't it. Well, anyway, you're getting nice sharp corners on this star. Now, if I go to pocket that out, reset preview, just select the star, and I pocket it out, with my 1/8" end mill. Even though it looks nice and sharp out here, I'm going to get round corners because of the radius of that tool. So that's the advantage of having the V-carve toolpath versus using a pocket toolpath. A pocket toolpath is not going to give you the pointed ends. It's going to be it's going to have a radius. Steve says, can I do a 3D pocketed star with a raised center that way, or would you have to bake it into a 3D model? Yeah, you could, but that's you could do a 3D model. That's way outside of the scope of what I've got time for now. Let's see. Let's reset the preview, close. 3D model here. I'm going to get rid of the oval. Sorry, Michael. And I'll get rid of this. Wait. And let's go over to, let's see, what would be the easiest way to do this? There are several ways of getting this done. I would probably come over to clip art and go into domes and dishes and just use a flat square. Put one in the middle. Shift so it covers everything. Go into my modeling tab, change my combine mode to subtract. I'm going to look at my 3D view here. All right. And I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to select my vector, hold down shift, select my dish, and in Aspire, I'll remove everything out of the selected vector. Okay. Then select my dish, hold down shift, select my letter M, and remove everything inside that vector. Nope, wrong one. What I've got to do is select, hold down shift, select the dish. Don't use that vector. Select. There we go. Now when I look at my 3D view, let me add a 0 plane. And there we are. I can go in and adjust my height. And let's bring that down to 0.125 for 1/8 of an inch. And there's that 3D model. Okay. And yes, you could bake that together. You could close. You could bake that into a 3D model. You could create a component from that model. You could add draft, create a component from the visible model, all of that. But do remember that 3D takes a lot of time. So this is not the way I would do it. I would do it using the V-carve toolpath. Yeah, you could do it, but I'm not sure you'd want to. Let's take a look over here and see. I'll go ahead and do a 3D finish. Let's do that as my selected vector. 16th inch tapered ball nose. And we'll calculate just for giggles. Let's see what we get. And we'll preview that. Okay, when we do get that, my modeling simulation was way down. My modeling resolution, rather, was way down. But the point of that was to see, no, we're not looking at all that. You're looking at that one 3D finish toolpath is 7 hours and 18 minutes. So versus, let's turn off all of these. Doing it with a pocket is 35 minutes. And what was the V-carve? V-carve was 18 minutes. Nope, that's for that circle I did up there. You get my point. I was thinking your barn star, except cut into the piece with a raised letter, but it's just a thought. No biggie. Yeah. That's fine, Steve. You could do it, but looking at the amount of time it would take you to cut that, there's no real benefit to doing it that way, unless this is part of another model. If you're doing something else out here on the rest of the material and you're adding this to the model, and it's going to take you 10 hours to cut anyway, then sure, you could add that. But I don't really see a benefit to doing it that way. Let me go ahead and get rid of all of these. Delete all. Paboof. Okay. And I forgot to reset the preview. Hello. Something I was going to do a little bit on, and looks like we're out of time, is Vectric released version 11.552 over the weekend. And there have been a couple of issues. Nothing dramatic, but do know that they have put out a video, what's new in version 11.55. And it's on their YouTube channel. I've put a link to it down in the description of this live stream. Do go check it out. They get into a number of benefits to doing this upgrade. But there has been one issue that people have noticed. And that is they found out that, well, one of the things that is offered in this version is a bunch of template files that are made for standard sheet goods. So a 8-foot by 4-foot sheet of plywood, a 1500 by 1500 millimeter sheet of Baltic birch plywood, things of that nature. And as you can see, I have done the update, and I'm in the templates folder where those templates should be, and they didn't get imported. Well, Vectric has said on their Facebook page that, let's see here. Unfortunately, we have just realized that these template files aren't included in the patch. We do apologize for any issues they may have caused, and we do hope you enjoy the other features in version 11.55, and there are quite a few. Some people have found that reinstalling their license file, and you do that by going up here to the help and enter your license code. You'll get that off of your Vectric portal. Some people have found that by re-entering the license code, it would download those templates. I tried that, and as you can see, I'm in the template file, and all I have is the README. It didn't work for me. Other people have found that by completely uninstalling, then reinstalling the software, that worked for them. The only caution I would give you on that is if you do that, if you decide you want to do that, get into your tool database, log into your Vectric portal account, your V & Company account, and upload your tool database. That way, when you reinstall, you can just download your tool database and carry on, no issue. This is just me. I don't know anything anybody else knows. I'm not an insider, but I would not be surprised to see another patch come out very soon that will add those templates, and this will not be a concern. But if you really want those templates, I would just say to make sure that you back up your tool database and then go ahead and reinstall if you choose to do that. If you are like me and don't want to go through all that again, I'm just going to wait. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to get that file from Michael and I'm going to dig into what he was talking about. We'll probably revisit this topic next week. Other than that, I am not sure if I'm going to have a video next week. I hope so, but we'll see. I'm not certain. Meanwhile, for those of you who are on Facebook, and even for those of you who aren't, I've talked about it before. My buddy Bull Shanigan runs a tidy little Keebler tree over there on Facebook called The Make. On the 15th, September 15th, he started the 2023 Community Challenge. Now, he's getting me a few links. He's putting together an announcement page on his website so that I can promote it to you guys. If you are on Facebook, get over to the Facebook group, The Make. There's a link to it down in the description of this live stream. Get over there and join. He's going to be giving away some free tools. He's going to be giving away some swag. He's going to be giving away all kinds of different things. There are various categories for 3D carving, 3D modeling, 2D carving, 2D drawing, all kinds of little goodies. He does this every year. But you have to be a member of his Facebook group called The Make. And Steve has just put a link to it here in the chat. I'm going to be one of the judges. Complete rules will be available over there on The Make. I would suggest joining up. It was a lot of fun last year, and it promises to be a lot more fun this year. So that's The Make. Link to it down in the description of this live stream. If I don't have a video next week, what I'll do is I'll revisit Michael's file as I promised, and we'll also get into a few more of the new things that were offered in the update to 11.55. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. One being the ability to put links in your tool database so that you can paste a link to wherever you got that tool from, and you click on that link in the tool database and it will open up that web page in your default browser, which is very handy. Believe me, when I need to replace a bit, I want to replace it now and not have to go searching. So, I mean, that's just one of the little things that they're allowing now in this update. So, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Channel members, remember to check the community tab here on my YouTube channel for the link to tomorrow's members only live stream. We're going to dig into the stuff we talked about last week. That'll be 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you'd like some information on becoming a channel member, just click the join button down there next to the subscribe button. A video will pop up and play that'll tell you all about channel membership. You're under no obligation, okay? Thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you to everybody who likes and shares my videos. And until next week, I'm going to head over to John's live stream and join them and do a little hooting and hollering over there. And hopefully y'all will follow me over. Until then, y'all take care. Have a good one, y'all. And thank you.